Now is the perfect time to cover a couple things that we need to talk about to make sure you know exactly what's going on, how to get there, and how to get help. First things first, there's one and only one source for everything you need to know about this class, and that's your slide deck. Now, that slide deck is real easy to find because if you'll just go to Google Classroom, it is the very first thing underneath the stream or the very first thing underneath coursework. So in either of those cases, there it is. Whether you're geometry or algebra 2, everything you need to know is in that slideshow. Edpuzzle, Delta Math, Flipgrid, it's all in there. One spot. You want to know where to turn in work? Right there on the slides, you have your instructional video in Edpuzzle, your Delta Math, that's the practice, and you turn it in right down there in the submit button. Everything is in one spot, and you're not sure when things are due? Two things. Number one, the big red arrow. The big red arrow tells everybody in the class exactly where we're at. Every day we come into class, as we do something new, the big red arrow moves. Every day we come into class the next day, the big red arrow moves. So all of that is determined by the big red arrow. But if you say, well, I want at least a guess because maybe I'm going to be gone next week, there is some due dates up in the top corner. Those are a good guide, but remember, the big red arrow is what you're looking for. You are required or expected to be a part of the class. This is not a teach yourself or learn on your own. Now, I also know that either for medical reasons or family reasons or extenuating circumstances, not everybody can be part of every day's classroom Zoom during class time. That's okay, because even those classes that you can't be there, we're going to put one recording for geometry and one recording for algebra 2 into the slideshow every single day. So even if you miss, you can catch up with us later that evening. Remember, folks, even though we're remote, you're still part of a class, and the pace of the class is determined by what we get to in class as recorded in the Zoom and as shown by the big red arrow. That's the idea. We don't want to expect students to do things that they haven't been prepared for. With that in mind, let's talk about a couple other places that you're gonna look and that you're gonna use. Number one is Delta Math. Delta Math is our practice component because you can't learn math without practicing. Now, the Delta Math are those little blue circles, and it takes you right to the list of Delta Math, and the title right on that blue circle tells you exactly which Delta Math to do. Once you've done a Delta Math, it'll provide you a check mark right there to show you that you've done it. Beyond that, you just need to pay attention to what's on the slide and go right to that Delta Math and do that one as we get to it in class. Remember, if you have trouble with Delta Math, there's a couple things that you can help with. Number one, there's the watch video option that allows you to watch a video done by the creator of Delta Math on top of the instructional video I give you. Additionally, there's also that Show Example button that shows you an example of that problem on top of the video. And what happens if you get it wrong? That's okay, because two things happen. Number one, it shows you the correct solution to the problem and how to work it out. And number two, it also means you can just redo it, because parents and students, this is important, Delta Math for the practice you can do over and over and over till you get 100%. That's why it's practice. Now, we also may use Delta Math for our assessments. When we do a Delta Math for the assessments, it will likely be timed. It also will only be one answer per question. And the reason is because it's an assessment. But by the time we've gotten there, we've done the introduction video, we've talked about it in class, we've practiced it, they've had multiple opportunities to perfect it before we even get there. And with all of that help, if that's not enough, remember, I'm here to help you too. The difference is I'm gonna need your help, because since we're not in class, I can't necessarily tell when you're being frustrated or when you're having trouble. So I need you to reach out to me via email. So just simply email me and I will get right back to you. Maybe we can meet for a Zoom, Maybe we work through it through email. Maybe I make a special video to help you. All of these opportunities are available for you or for your child to help them be successful with their math practice. But we need communication for that to happen. The other thing you'll notice in Delta Math, all of the due dates are set to the last day of the quarter. The reason they're set to the last day of the quarter is because, again, let's go back to those students with medical, family, or extenuating circumstances. With those three items, I have to keep the practice open to make sure every student has the opportunity to be successful. But that doesn't mean waiting until the last minute to do it, because I'm going to put grades in as we go through each of the Delta Maths, as we go through the slides. Each week I'm going to be updating grades so you know exactly where you're at. You are expected, regardless of whether you attend the class or not, to be up with us right where that big red arrow is. Okay, let's talk about those instructional videos in Edpuzzle. You don't need to worry about going to Edpuzzle or finding it in Edpuzzle, just like you don't need to go find it in Delta Math. You go right to the slideshow, you click on the icon, it takes you right to the correct Edpuzzle, and you get to do the Edpuzzle. Just like Delta Math, you can do it as many times as you need to get 100%. The difference is, in Edpuzzle, you need to let me know that I need to reset it. You say, Mr. Moore, I didn't do as well as I wanted, or I didn't understand as well as I wanted, but now I do, I want another chance. You bet. Email me, I'll be happy to reset it, and you can try again. So again, you'll notice instruction and practice over and over until we get it. Now, Edpuzzle, again, those due dates are all going to be set to the last day of the quarter. That doesn't mean you won't be graded on them before then. Remember, those are staying open for medical, family, and other extenuating circumstances. But you're responsible for every Edpuzzle and every Delta Math as we go through the class, wherever the red arrow goes in the slideshow. That's what's important. Now, there's one other piece that we need to talk about. When you go to Google Classroom and you go to coursework, you see all of those submission places. Those submission places are where you put all the work for your Delta Math, because again, we can't learn math without practice, and you can't learn math without writing it down. On every single Delta Math assignment, you must have your name, your hour, your class, the title of the Delta Math. So for example, finding slopes, slope y-intercept form, whatever the title is. You must also, on every single question, write the problem, show the work. Now you say, well, I did it in my head. That's not good enough, folks. On every problem, you will at least have to write the problem out, draw the graph, draw the table, plot the point, put the axes. Every problem has something that needs written down on it, whether you do math work or not. So write it down, show the work, give the answer. There's something to write down for every single one. And without that work submitted in Google Classroom, you will not receive credit no matter what Delta Math says. Because it is important that you are the one doing the work. That's how practice works. With that in mind, remember, all the due dates are technically set to the last day of the quarter, but you need to be caught up on it and stay right on target in our one source slideshow with our red arrow. Additionally, parents, just a reminder, where do we go for grades? Grades, as always and forever at Warrensburg-Latham, are in Skyward Family Access. That's where you go to the grades. All of the Delta Math will get put together each week for a grade. All the Edpuzzle for that week will get put together for a grade. Remember, this is a math class and there's a little bit to do every day. In all cases, it is intended to be done within the time frame that remote learning provides. With that, folks, I hope you know where to find the information you need for the class, that one source in that slide deck, that you understand what the due dates are based on the red arrow. They may be listed on the slides, but it's always where the red arrow is. Also, that Delta Math and Edpuzzle are there for you to do it over and over and over to get it right and to do well. And remember, I'm always here to help you. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you're expected to be in class, so I'll see you on the Zoom, or I'll assume that you're watching the Zoom from home. You're to be part of this class, and we've set it up for you to be successful.